Hi, I'm Kevin Selmeyer, the Michigan State Fire Marshal. I've been doing a lot of work since 2017 with a group known as MI Prevention. MI Prevention is a group of volunteers and partners and fire departments from across the state of Michigan. MI Prevention has a 3-year strategic plan that started in 2018 with the main focus on how we reduce fires and fire deaths across the state of Michigan. This group, known as MI Prevention, has invested a lot of time in looking at the data from every fatal fire that occurs in our state. And we're starting to see some trends. We're starting to see some of the demographics of who some of the folks are that are dying in fires in the state of Michigan. In this video, we hope to provide you the information that will help you to have a better understanding of the statistics of the people who are dying in the state of Michigan from fire. Further, we want to provide you information on specific groups that are at a higher risk and how you interact with some of those groups so that we can increase our messaging across the state.
Hi, I'm Kimberly Peszkowski, the Program Manager for MI Prevention. My main role for MI Prevention is to be a voice and advocate for fire departments across the state. As an advocate for fire departments, a common theme I was hearing across the state was improving communications between the fire departments and the resources in those communities. MI Prevention's goal is to connect each of the fire departments with disability regional managers across the state of Michigan. Disability Network has 15 regions across the state, and we have mapped that out for each of you fire departments so you can find the closest region for you. We have also tied in MI Prevention advocates to go along with each of these disability network managers. This will help tie that communication together for fire departments across the state. I would love to give you an example. In Kent County, we have Plainfield Fire Department, Curtis Gear and Kyle Savoda. Those are the MI Prevention advocates. They are going to be partnered with the Kent County Disability Network Manager. And if you have any questions towards disabilities, disability equipment, disability alarms, or resources to help people in your community, those are the advocates you need to reach out to. The MI Prevention Advocate and the Disability Network Manager. The MI Prevention app, first off, let me say, it is a web-based app. This is very clear information because you will not find this on an Apple phone or an Android phone. The only way to get our MI Prevention app is through our miprevention.org webpage, or if you know someone who has it, they have the QRS symbol, or they can send you the link through a text. Another resource would be to find our new MI Prevention newsletters, and we place our QRS symbol on the newsletters for MI Prevention. That is the best way to get the MI Prevention app. How can MI Prevention's app help you with community risk reduction? Open that app up, and if you have questions about the fire service directory, that's on the app. If you are installing smoke alarms in your community, it's in the app. If you need public education while you're out in the community showing videos on Close the Door, that's on the app. If you have more creative ideas on how we can improve MI Prevention's app so you can utilize it in community risk reduction, please contact miprevention.org or Kimberly Peszkowski, and I will be happy to improve that app. When you're out in your community and you're installing alarms and utilizing MI Prevention's app, when you get into the installation form, the first question they ask is your password. Please know that the password is always going to be your FDID number. If you are a community partner out in the field and not a fire department, you will have created a 4-digit number. If you do not recall what that 4-digit number is, reset the password, and it'll actually tell you what the password is. If you do not know your FDID number for your fire department, that's great, because we on our MI Prevention app put the fire service directory right in the app. So look your fire department up under the fire service directory, and that will tell you what your FDID number is. The person in your fire department who requested smoke alarms is our main contact for MI prevention. This is very key information to know, because if there's a job promotion or retirement, or they leave the fire department, this person who requested smoke alarms, they're the ones who are going to continually get emails from MI prevention. Furthermore, every time you install a smoke alarm in the MI prevention app, that contact person is the one who gets the email. So if there's any changes in your fire department from the person who requested smoke alarms, contact Kimberly Pashkowski at MI Prevention, and we will update our contact list. When requesting smoke alarms, please fill out the phone number with your personal cell. This is very important. We have gotten a lot of phone numbers on fire station numbers and township numbers. MI Prevention works 7 days a week, and we are out delivering sometimes on Saturdays and Sundays and 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and nobody answers the phone at the township at that time. If we have a personal contact cell number, you're able to give us the resources we need to drop those alarms off in the regions and areas that we're at. We would like to invite you to become more involved with MI Prevention. You can become involved by downloading the MI Prevention app, going to our webpage, miprevention.org, or contact me, Kimberly Pashkowski, the Program Manager, at the information below.
The app actually has a link that will take you to the fire statistics of the number of folks that have died in fires in the state of Michigan that's maintained by the Michigan Fire Inspector Society. This partnership and working with the Michigan Fire Inspector Society, as well as all the volunteers and partners in MI Prevention, have helped us to identify some trends. All of this statistical data is available to you on a quarterly basis in an infographic that is produced. How can you play a part in reducing fire deaths in the state of Michigan? Quarterly, print out these apps and hang them in the fire station. Better yet, take them down to the senior center. Take them to places where there's community bulletin boards. Encourage the senior organizations in your community, the disability networks in your community, to actually include these graphics in the mailings and the communications that they actually do with the clients that they serve. Us working together, we can lower fire fatalities in the state. miprevention.org will provide you all the resources that you need as a fire department to be successful in getting out in the community and making a difference to lower fire fatalities.
Hi, I'm Stacy. I've been a firefighter in the fire service for 8 years. There are many different smoke alarms available for your home based on your abilities. This device is the HomeAware. So this device syncs to many different things available in your home, such as your smoke alarms, your doorbell, and your telephone. This will also vibrate your bed in the event that you have a fire. You would want this device in your home if you are hard of hearing, deaf, blind, or the elderly. This device is the Google Nest Protect. This can detect fast or slow burning fires and carbon monoxide in your home. So you can connect this device to your cellular phone or your already existing Google Nest system. You do not have to have the Google Nest system already in your home, since this will connect directly to your cell phone. So I would recommend this system for the hard of hearing and blind who are tech savvy. This here is a strobe smoke alarm, and it would require you to plug it into your outlet. This device has an audible horn and a pulsating strobe light. Those who would benefit from this device are hard of hearing, deaf, or the elderly.
Thanks, Stacy, for sharing this information. If you'd like more information on any of the devices that Stacy explained, you can go to miprevention.org or go to the MI Prevention app to learn more about these life-saving devices. So across Michigan, when you respond to a fire, we usually break the fire down into 3 areas. The first one being life safety, then incident stabilization, and property conservation. But there's been one thing that's been shared with me time and time again with talking with people who are experiencing disabilities and how important their equipment is. Everything from their hearing aids or devices that help them hear, specialty glasses, devices that help them move around, braces, and even custom wheelchairs. I'm sharing with you, please make grabbing that equipment when possible one of the highest priorities after life safety. We need to make sure that we get this equipment for folks. As they shared with me, this equipment helps them to participate in life. Some of them have shared with me that getting this custom equipment has taken months and even years to obtain. And so they're going to want you to work hard to get that equipment for them. I ask you, please make that a priority on the fireground after life safety to securing equipment that these folks experiencing disabilities need to be successful in daily life.
A lot of us dread the thought of ever having to be disabled, and your mind is mostly on your health issues, and you forget about your safety if there's an alarm go off. I was one of them that had that happen, where the smoke alarm went off into the apartment complex where I live, which is 3 floors. There's 120 apartments. When the fire alarm goes off, you have the drills and everything. But when an unexpected one goes off, you're thinking, okay, I need to do this. Well, we went to go through the steps of what we prepared for. However, it didn't work. My chair got stuck between the fire doors, and I could hear people talking about there was smoke in the building, not knowing where it is, and how am I going to get out of here? It was a very stressful situation. You know, they said, well, we can get you down in one of the buckets. I said, okay, but then what do I do after that? I won't have a walker to try to help me. I don't have my chair, which is what I need to get around in. You need these necessities. How do we get them back?
If the magnets that are on the side, if those come off, like so, she can't hear out of this side. So they do wear them all day, every day, and without them, they do lip read, but lip reading is difficult, especially right now with masks. So right now the implants are very, very important. Thankfully, we work with a really, really good company, Advanced Bionics. They have wonderful customer service, and probably we would get the implant within a couple of days, but they also had to be programmed. So this specifically is for Brooke. Hers is specifically for Aubrey. They have serial numbers. You can't interchange. If Brooke put hers on Aubrey, it wouldn't work because it's specifically only to her ear. That would be one of the first things we would grab. And if we couldn't, we'd probably be telling the firefighter, please go back in and get it if possible.
In Caitlin's situation, we don't have special meds, or she doesn't have oxygen tank or special equipment. Obviously, if we had a fire, I would love the firemen to get the wheelchair out, because she has a special wheelchair that's built just for her. So that piece of equipment is specialized, and it takes 6 months to get a new one. You know, if you're looking at how in my house, what do I want to get out if there was a fire? Wheelchair is one of the top things.
Probably, well, mainly just I need a cane, okay, just to get around. I can't walk. As far as medications, I mean, I wouldn't send them into a burning house just to get a pack of pills for me. You know, I could get the medication later, but the main thing would be just for me to have a cane or something to move around with.
Yeah, Charlie definitely has, I think the biggest life-saving piece of equipment he's got is his chair. Like, people don't realize that if we lose the chair, it's not like you can get the chair at Walmart. It'll take 12 weeks to get it, and he will be non-mobile, is where he can't go to school. He won't be able to, literally will change everything about what we do if he doesn't have that chair with us. So that for him, and then some kids require medications and stuff that are life-saving as well.
I'd like to introduce Kelly. Kelly is with the Capital Area Disability Network. Remember, there's 15 disability networks throughout the state. I want to thank Kelly for taking the time to explain to us how we can best interact with those experiencing disabilities.
Hello, I'm Kelly Blackwell with Disability Network Capital Area. I am the Program Manager for Community Engagement. When thinking about individuals with disabilities, we all have our own unique experiences. However, there are going to be some commonalities and there are going to be some differences. However, there are some general categories that you can think of. So there are individuals who experience mobility disabilities, individuals who are deaf and hard of hearing. Also, people may have communication disabilities, vision impairments or blindness, as well as individuals with chronic health conditions or who are neurodiverse or have psychiatric conditions. And all of those experiences are going to be unique to the individual. Some individuals with their disability experience may have a visual disability, or they may have a disability that you cannot see. It's important to recognize your own bias and check your assumptions at the door. And it's really important when you are speaking with an individual that has a disability that you address them directly. And individuals who experience disabilities will ask for help if they need it. I will add to that though, however, if you're not sure, it is okay to ask. When thinking about an individual that experiences a mobility disability, so if they're using a wheelchair, walker, crutches, anything like that, it's very important to keep in mind that first of all, that piece of equipment is an extension of that person. So you don't want to grab at their device or move them, as an example. You always want to be mindful of that being their personal space and making sure not to set anything or lean on that device. That might put them off balance, just as an example. And then you always want to make sure that you are speaking directly with the individual. And then it's good practice as well to either kneel or, if you're able to, sit beside the individual that's using a chair. If you are interacting with someone who is hard of hearing or deaf, there are some things that you're going to want to keep in mind. First of all, not everyone who is hard of hearing or deaf uses American Sign Language. You may need to communicate by way of writing on a piece of paper. You also want to make sure that you are aware of your surroundings. Is there a lot of noise? Are you in a well-lit area? All of those things are very important. You want to do your best to speak clearly with the individual and directly in front of them. You also don't want to shout. And it's important to remember that if they don't hear you or don't understand what you're saying, please don't ever say, "Never mind, it's not important." If you're interacting with someone that has a vision impairment, some of the things that you want to keep in mind are that you want to immediately identify yourself and your role before attempting any physical contact. You also don't want to shout at the individual. It's really important too that if you are providing directions, as an example, to be as specific as possible. For example, move forward and then once you get to the wall, make a right, as opposed to go straight ahead and move right. If you're opening any kind of door, it's also very helpful to announce what direction the door is opening. For example, the door opens out and to the left. That way, an individual doesn't risk running into the door frame. It's also very important to not assume that all individuals who are blind read Braille. It's actually only about 20% of individuals who are blind read Braille. And actually, I was on a flight once where a flight attendant was super helpful, got me to my seat, and came back about 20 minutes later, and she was a little out of breath, and she handed me a safety card in Braille, assuming that I read Braille, and I simply said thank you and let her walk away. But that's where assumptions will get you. If you're leaving a space, say a room or just someone's general vicinity, and they are blind, you're going to want to make sure to announce that you're leaving. Or if you need to move anything out of the way, you also want to make sure that you're announcing what you're moving. If you are in a position where you need to guide an individual with a vision impairment, it's very important that you offer your arm and not to grab at someone else's arm or hand. The appropriate way to guide is to offer your arm and elbow specifically. And if someone has a service animal, it's important that you walk on the opposite side of the service animal so that you're providing the least amount of distraction for the animal. It's also important to note that if you are interacting with someone that has a vision impairment, to not necessarily grab at their cane or to touch their guide animal. That animal is there to serve a purpose, and it distracts them when you are reaching for them or petting them or what have you. So I'm going to talk about a little bit of myth versus fact. So a lot of people might say that because you cannot see, that you have extraordinary hearing. When individuals rely on their other senses, it's simply that. So for me, I don't have my vision, so I'm going to rely on my other senses. It doesn't necessarily mean that I can hear better or smell better or any of those things. One's ability to see or not see is not directly linked to their ability to hear or not hear. It's simply that individuals are using the senses that they have available to be the most familiar with their surroundings. If you experience interactions with someone who is neurodiverse, and that could include someone with autism or someone who experiences a learning disability, or even someone with dementia, simply put, it's someone who experiences cognitive differences that wouldn't be neurotypical. It's important to keep in mind that you want to be as clear and concise as possible. Make sure to identify yourself and your role and what exactly you are doing. So, for example, if you are working to get someone out of a home due to safety reasons, it's important that you say that. Treat an individual just as they are an individual. Speak to them just as you would anyone else. Just make sure to identify as much of the situation that's going on as possible. And be sure to speak directly to the individual. If you're working with someone who experiences a disability relating to communication, here are some things that you want to keep in mind. You want to make sure that you are speaking clearly with the individual. It's important to not complete individual sentences. And if you are noticing that someone is nonverbal, as an example, it might be really important to ask yes and no questions. You also want to be very aware of your surroundings and limit the amount of distractions. When you are working with an individual who is experiencing chronic health issues, it's important to note that they may be experiencing fatigue. At that moment, they may not wish to communicate. They may need to sit down or take frequent breaks. And it's also very important to realize that environmental factors may be playing a role in their response. They may be experiencing nausea or some behavioral changes. Just some different things that you want to be mindful of.
Good morning, Bob.
Morning there, big man. Morning, Alice!
There's no need to be awkward.
Poor Bob. Like so many of us, he just doesn't know how to interact with people with disabilities.
It's pretty easy, really. People with disabilities are people first.
We need the same things that every person needs, like respect.
Good morning, everyone.
Attention!
Okay. Maybe we need to be more specific.
The easiest way to show respect is to focus on the person, not the disability. It's okay. You'll get the hang of it.
One easy way to focus on the person is to watch the person signing and not their interpreter.
Or their companion.
It's really cool that you'd like to help, but do us both a favor and please ask me first. What you think might be helping?
I got you.
Wait, ah! know, might actually not.
If you'd like to offer me help, let me hold on to your elbow. Don't take mine.
Hey, would you like to take my arm?
Sure.
Assistive devices help us to live our lives. They're really important and really personal.
Grabbing them only makes it weird for everyone.
What? Please only touch our devices and service animals if we've given you permission. And don't take it personally if I ask you not to. Remember that my service animal helps me all the time. Neither of us would like it if we were separated.
Remember, we make our own decisions. We sign documents, vote, volunteer, work, and pay taxes.
We get married.
So don't underestimate me just because I have a great smile.
Just because I'm blind.
May I help you?
Does not mean I'm deaf.
Just because I'm deaf doesn't mean I'm blind.
And just because I use a wheelchair doesn't mean that I can't sweep you off your feet.
So take a deep breath. Relax. We don't bite.
Unless we're really hungry.
Hello there, ladies. How are you?
Hello. And if you're not sure what to do, just ask.
Hi, would you still like to see a menu?
No thanks, but can you please read it to me?
Sure, definitely.
Just treat us the way you would want to be treated, and we'll all be okay.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Alice.
Morning.
Awkward no more. Nice job, Bob. Go forth and be human.
There's no need to be awkward.
Your words matter. When you are speaking about or to an individual with a disability, some of the things that you want to avoid are saying things like handicapped or crippled. People with disabilities are people with disabilities. You could say individual with a disability. Also, when individuals are chair users, they are not confined or bound to a wheelchair. A wheelchair gives them a sense of mobility and freedom. So I would say instead an individual who uses a wheelchair or a wheelchair user. Also, when someone experiences a disability, let's say cerebral palsy, that person experiences a disability, not suffers from a disability. So consider this next time you are thinking about the words that you are going to use. Your words do in fact matter. Try not to think of someone with a disability experience as being brave or inspirational. Think about this. The next time you are performing that very same task, would you consider it to be brave or inspirational? Or would you just think, I'm just living life like anyone else? It's really important that when you are interacting with individuals with disabilities, you treat them like anyone else. And at Disability Network Capital Area, our vision is so that people with disabilities are included in all aspects of the human experience.
Thanks for taking time to watch this video. Our main goal was to give you information on how you can interact with individuals who are experiencing a disability. There's a lot of resources that are available. To get more information, please go to miprevention.org. I'd also like to encourage you to download the app so that you have that available on your phone or other electronic devices so that you can interact with the community. I would like to thank you for everything you do daily across the state of Michigan. I also would like to encourage you or your department to get involved in MI prevention. We've got a lot of work ahead of us in reducing fire fatalities around the state, and we need everyone's help. Thank you.